Welcome to another Majora's Mask video, and in today's video we're taking down the Snowhead Temple. In my last video I covered everything I needed to do before I came to the Snowhead Temple, so if you're not prepared for this, go watch that video first. And in this video I'll show you how to take down the Snowhead Temple, all the strategies I found, and where to collect all the fairies. Not to mention a fun new strategy against the boss where you don't even have to turn into a Goron. If you have any comments, tips, strategies, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. In the first room, turn into a Goron and then you can come ground pound the area by the door to get rid of those crystals and defeat the enemies that are in this room. Then we can start pushing this large block out of the way, and in the next room where the Wolfos appears, just go to the right and ignore him. In this room, you're going to have to do a spin move across a thin bridge. To make sure you get enough traction with this spin move, first ground pound and then start spinning. Since you're on the ice, you'll get some momentum on the ice before you start going forward. This will make it much easier. Once you're safely on the other side of the bridge, head over to the left here, pull out your bow and arrow as regular Link, and we can take care of a hidden fairy underneath the ledge over here. Once you pop the fairy bubble, put on your mask and that'll attract the fairy to you. Right where you collected this fairy, just turn over to your right and look down for another fairy that's trapped in a bubble. Just like before, we're going to shoot it with the bow and arrow and put on our fairy mask to attract this one to us. With both fairies collected, now we can jump across the gap onto the ledge the first fairy was hiding under and take these stairs up into the next room. In this room on the left hand side you'll see a chest. We want to open it up and grab the map that's inside. Now before you leave this room, just over to the left here is a fairy just floating on its own. Collect it and then we can head back downstairs. Back downstairs we'll jump across the gap and head through this blue trimmed door on the right that'll lead to the main area of this temple. In the first room, we're going to go ahead and jump off to the left here. Make sure you're in your Goron form though, so the lava can't burn us. And in that second lava pool, you'll find a switch that'll reveal a chest in the first lava pool. Now go back and open that chest to collect our fourth fairy for this temple. If you look around down here, you'll see a staircase that'll take us right back up to the ledge we just jumped off of. Now we're going to swap back to our regular Link form, head across the room here, and go through the one door that's not frozen on the other side. In this room on the left hand side, you'll see two blocks stacked on top of each other. Pull them out 4 spaces and then push them all the way across to the other side of the room. That'll hit a switch that'll unveil a chest that we're not going to be able to reach right now. We can, however, go back to where we pulled those 2 blocks out. Behind it is a room that has a chest, and in this chest we can pick up a small key we need. Now that we have the key, head back into the main room, and to the right you'll see a door covered in ice. We're going to melt this ice with a fire arrow by using a regular arrow through this torch. Behind this door is another small room with a Wolfos, but just like before, we're just going to run through this door to the right that's locked and ignore the Wolfos. In this room, it's going to be much more difficult to ignore the 2 Wolfoses, so I would just take them out. There's one on this side of the room and one on the other side of the room hiding behind the ice block. Once those are taken care of, then we can open the chest in the middle of the room to get the compass. On the other side of the room, you'll see there's a crate on top of a pillar next to a clearly breakable wall, so you want to use your bomb to destroy that crate and then use your fairy mask to lure the fairy to you. Would have been cool if I could blow them both up with one bomb, but whatever. Use another bomb to destroy the breakable wall that leads to the staircase and we'll head upstairs. We need to get onto these pillars that are covered with ice, so first we're going to need to shoot the ice on the ceiling to make it crash into the ice on the pillars. Then once they're all cleared up, we'll head to the other side of the room. Climb up on the ledge and we can jump over to the pillar here to collect our first red rupee. Then we'll start jumping on the pillars in the middle of the room to make our way to the other red rupee. From here, use your lens of truth on that strange snow pattern on the wall. That'll reveal that it's actually a little tunnel that you can go into that has a chest. Hop inside and open the chest to get another fairy. Then we'll turn around, jump out of this little hidden cave and back onto our pillars. We can make our way all the way over to the leftmost pillar here to pick up the last red rupee. Or from the big one, we can just jump to the main island where the giant snowballs are. Blow them up to reveal a chest. Inside this chest, we'll find the small key we need. Jump off the ledge, head past the pillars, and we'll go through the locked door on the other side of the room. In this room, you're going to find a switch that you need to ground pound as a Goron, which will make this other switch pop up in the middle of the pit. Now you can swap back to Link and we can jump across to the other side until we get to this green one here. Then in Goron form, you're going to pound this green switch. That'll make the green switch in the pit come up. Now we're going to go pound the yellow switch that's in the pit, which makes this switch come up and unlocks the door for us. So then we're going to go into our Link form, jump up onto the green switch, and then we can jump onto the ledge and go over by the door. But don't leave yet. Turn around, use your magic lens and your bow and arrow, and you'll see that there's a hidden cavern up in the ceiling with a fairy trapped in a bubble. You want to shoot it with your bow and then put on the fairy mask to make it come to you. Head through this door and we'll be back in the main room, but up a bit higher. We need to get across this gap, around the room, and across another gap. Remember, when you're crossing the gaps, if the floor is icy, you can ground pound first and then start spinning so you can get enough traction to get your spikes out and make it across the gaps. This guy can appear in 4 different corners of the room, and if you don't attack him quick enough, he's going to hit you with this ice attack. So what you want to do is stand in the middle of the room and use your mini-map. When you see a red dot, that's him. Attack that corner before he can get you. Then he's going to run around the room and start phase 2, where he appears to be in every corner, but there's only one real one. Just use your mini-map again. The red dot will tell you which one's real so you can attack him before he attacks you. Defeating the sub-boss made the chest appear in the middle of the room, and inside that chest we can score ourselves some fire arrows. Head back out into the main room and let's try out these new fire arrows by melting that ice block that's blocking the path to the left. Then we'll go in Goron form so we can jump across this gap safely, and then we'll go across the snow as a Goron, and then we can walk up the stairs to the next area. Upstairs you'll be in the same big room but one more level up, and if you carefully go out onto the ledge here, look off to the right with the lens of truth, you'll see that there's a secret cubbyhole we can roll into as Goron Link. Then we can go back to our regular form and open the chest for our 8th fairy. Now jump back onto the big platform in the middle of the room, and from here you can see there's 2 iced over doors on either side of this barred area. We need to get through those doors. But it doesn't matter which door you take, because both of them are going to take you to the same room. In this room you can see that there's 3 freeze-art enemies. You're going to want to take out all 3 with your fire arrows. Once you do, that'll make a chest appear in the back of the room that'll have the 9th fairy. But don't put your fire arrows away yet. There's also some unlit torches in the room that we need to get lit. Once all 3 are lit at the same time, this barred door will open. Inside that room, you're going to find a switch that the Goron can ground pound to change the layout of the room in front of you. Now leave that area back into the main chamber, make your way around to the red door on the right that we had melted the ice off earlier, and in this room ignore the Wolfos again while we go into the bigger room to the right. Take care of both of the Wolfoses in this room, but then use your fire arrows to melt the giant cube in the middle of the room and the switch on the far side of the room. Then when you stand on the switch, it'll unlock a chest up here. Now we'll head back over to this big block we just unfroze and push it across the room to that ledge over there. But don't jump onto that ledge yet. You go through there, it's going to reset this room. Instead, push the block all the way over to the second ledge with the chest we just unlocked. That'll have the 10th fairy inside. Now we can jump off the ledge and push this block back towards the other ledge, then climb up there and head through the door to a room that should look familiar. We were in this room earlier and we pushed these blocks across the room to unlock a chest that we couldn't reach, but now that we can come in from this door and jump across the blocks we pushed, we can open the chest that's in this room for the 11th fairy. Now you can just jump off the ledge, head through this door back into the main room, and then we're going to go back through that red line door, and this time off to the left instead of the right. Head over to this bridge here next. From here you can see that there's more freeze-art enemies and a giant ice block on that ledge over there. You want to melt the freeze-arts and the ice blocks. That's going to make a chest appear. Then you have to roll across the bridge as a Goron and make your way around to the chest to get the small key. Take off your Goron mask so we can easily jump across this gap and head up the stairs to the room that had the dungeon map in it. Then stand on this ledge in the middle and use your fire arrows to melt the freeze-art and the switch above him. Hitting that switch will raise the platform we're standing on so we can be in the second story of this room. But before you go through the door, make your way around to the other side of the room and use your lens of truth to see that there's a broken staircase that leads to a secret little cubbyhole that has a chest inside. Inside the chest will score the 12th fairy. Now we can head through that door on the second story of this room back into the main chamber. You're going to want to swap over to Goron form so we can punch these 2 giant ice blocks away from the pillar. Turn around and take this path to the left here. That'll lead to the north door of this room. Head through that north door and that'll take us up a level in this room. Then we want to go off to the right on another snowy bank here, and then we can take the bridge out to knock out some more ice blocks. Now you should have a small key in your inventory that we picked up earlier, so turn around and use it on the locked door behind you. And in this room you're going to be up against some Enos enemies, but you can make real quick work of them with your fire arrows. And then you're going to want to melt the ice block covering the exit on the other side of the room. But don't leave this room. On the other side of the room there's a funny little snow patch on the wall, and if you use your lens of truth you can see that that snow patch is actually a little cubby hole with a fairy trapped in a bubble. Pop it with your arrow and use your fairy mask to attract it. Once you have the 13th fairy, then you can head through that door upstairs. In this room, you're up against 2 Lizalfos enemies. Now, you could take them out in your Goron form, but I think the easiest way is in Link form, where you use a Deku Nut to freeze them and then jump attack with your sword. However you take them out, make sure you do, because this is where we find the last 2 fairies in this temple. They've been hiding under these Lizalfoses. Congratulations, you collected every single one of the fairies in this temple. Now we can take the other exit in this room back into the main chamber. Just keep walking forward on this path here and you can jump off the ledge onto a bigger platform below. Now we can swap to Goron form and smash these snowballs out of our way, which leads to a new staircase that's going to take us up to the top level of this room. Now we can see the boss door. But we still need to get the boss key, so start off by ground pounding and then spinning so we get enough traction in the ice here to put out our spikes and make it across the gap safely. Now by the boss door, look off to the right. There's a ledge below you with 2 pots. We can Goron roll onto this ledge. Now all we have to do is break these spikes and head through the door here for a sub-boss fight. Remember this guy? Last time we fought him, we didn't have fire arrows, so let's take advantage of that this time. Hit him a couple times with fire arrows and he'll jump straight into phase 2. For the second phase of this fight, this guy's gonna seem to appear in different spots all over the room, and you have to figure out which one's the real one and shoot it with a fire arrow. But remember, we can use our mini-map to see which one's the real one. The real one is the red dot on the mini-map. That'll make it easy to take this guy out. Head through the other door in this room that was just unlocked, and that'll lead to a small room that has a big pretty chest that'll have the boss key inside. Now we just gotta get back to the boss door. Head through the other door in this room and we'll be back out in the main chamber. Then just like before, we're gonna jump onto the platform in the middle, use our Goron fist to get rid of these snowballs, head up the stairs here, and then do a nice Goron spin to make it across the gap to the boss door. Now you just have to smash these icicles and we can use our new key to head inside. Inside the boss chamber, we can find the next boss, Goht, frozen in this giant block of ice. What you wanna do is use your fire arrows to fix that. To defeat this boss, you'd go into Goron form and roll into him, but instead we're going to try a little trick here with our bow and arrow. We're going to stay in Link form with our bow and arrow, go up to the next pot, but don't cross it. We don't want to get too close or he'll charge. Then we're going to strafe back and forth and shoot arrows. You'll know you're at the right spot if he's shooting lightning at you. And just to be clear, in no way was that easier than just taking the boss down normally, but it worked and I wanted to show it to you. When you're done, pick up the heart container piece and the mask before we leave. And that, my friends, is how you defeat the Snowhead Temple. It's also how you collect all of the fairies in the temple, and I even showed you a fun little way to take down the boss. In our next video, we have so much to cover. We're going to go over both the spider houses, the pirate ship, the Great Bay, everything you need to do from this point until we go into the Great Bay Temple. And if you have any comments, strategies, tips, or suggestions on the Snowhead Temple, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey.